Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the veil of reality? What if the stories we've heard, tales of ancient creatures, dark powers, and forbidden knowledge, are more than just myths? What if the Djinn, beings of smoke and fire, are real, and their secrets are waiting to be uncovered? Stay with us as we journey into the heart of the desert, where the line between legend and truth blurs, and discover the dark hidden truths of the Djinn. But beware, some mysteries come at a cost. For centuries, the desert has held its secrets, whispered only to the winds that sweep across its endless expanse. Among these secrets lies a mystery both ancient and forbidden. Stories of the Djinn, beings of fire older than humanity itself. Legends speak of these creatures, neither angel nor demon, but something in between. Invisible to the human eye, they dwell in shadows, watching, waiting. Some say they are protectors. Others believe they are tempters, feeding on human fears and desires. But who are they, really? And why do their names invoke such terror? Stories of the Djinn are as old as the sands themselves. Known as beings born of smokeless fire, they were created long before humanity. They walk the line between good and evil, bound by their own free will, capable of mercy but just as easily driven to vengeance. In every corner of the world where their legend exists, the Djinn are feared and respected. They are said to inhabit forgotten places, abandoned ruins, and the spaces between light and shadow. But not all who encounter them survive to tell the tale. And so, the story begins, not of a man uncovering secrets, but of secrets consuming a man. The Djinn, creatures of legend, shrouded in mystery, their very name whispered with caution. To understand their secrets, we must turn to the stories passed down through generations, etched into the collective memory of cultures across the Middle East and beyond. They were said to be created from smokeless fire, a force of pure energy, long before humans were shaped from clay. Like humans, they were granted free will, capable of great good or unimaginable evil. But unlike us, they are bound to neither the laws of man nor the natural world. Across the centuries, the Djinn have been portrayed in many forms. Guardians of hidden treasures, tricksters who revel in human folly, and darker still, beings that thrive on chaos, ensnaring the ambitious and the foolish alike. One legend speaks of a powerful Djinn who once served an ancient king, a ruler consumed by his hunger for power. Bound by magic, the Djinn fulfilled the king's every desire, but there was always a cost. Over time, the king's greed led to his downfall, as the Djinn twisted his wishes into ruin. The empire crumbled, its ruins swallowed by the desert sands, leaving behind only whispers of what once was. The Djinn exist not only in tales of power and tragedy, but also in the quiet fears of everyday life. A shadow that moves when it shouldn't, a whisper on the wind when no one is near. These are the subtle traces of their presence, reminders that they are always watching. For those who dare to seek the truth about the Djinn, the path is fraught with danger, an unraveling of reality itself. Many have tried, driven by curiosity, desperation, or greed, but few have returned with their sanity intact. Our story follows one such seeker, a man drawn not by ambition, but by a deep and unrelenting need for answers. An archaeologist by trade, his fascination began with a single artifact, an ancient talisman etched with cryptic symbols, unearthed from the sands of a forgotten ruin. The artifact bore warnings in a language long dead. Beware the whispers of fire. What you seek will consume you. To most, this would have been a deterrent, but to him, it was an invitation. His obsession grew as he delved deeper into the lore. Manuscripts told of rituals to summon the Djinn, of secret rites used by sorcerers to bind them, and of the devastating consequences when these entities turned on their masters. He discovered accounts of strange occurrences, fires that burned without fuel, shadows that moved with a will of their own, and voices that spoke from the void. Despite warnings from his peers, he ventured to the source, the crumbling ruins where the talisman had been found. There, amidst the broken stones and shifting sands, he found himself alone, with the weight of centuries of fear and mystery. But the Djinn do not reveal themselves easily. They are beings of deception, testing the resolve and intentions of those who seek them. And as he took his first steps into the heart of the ruins, the air grew heavy, the silence deafening, and the first whispers began. The ruins seemed to breathe as he walked deeper into their shadowed corridors. The walls, carved with symbols long forgotten, pulsed faintly with a light that came and went, as if the stones themselves remembered the touch of fire. At first, the whispers were faint, barely distinguishable from the sighing wind, but as he moved further in, they grew louder, murmurs in a language he couldn't understand, spoken as if directly into his mind. It was a sound both enticing and terrifying, a call he couldn't ignore. Among the rubble, he discovered more relics, an obsidian dagger, blackened with age, fragments of pottery that bore the likeness of flame-wreathed figures, and at the center of it all, a small stone pedestal. Upon it lay an object that defied logic, a flame suspended in midair, flickering yet casting no heat or light. He approached cautiously, his hand trembling as he reached out to touch the pedestal. The moment his fingers brushed the surface, the whispers ceased, replaced by a low, resonant hum that seemed to come from everywhere at once. And then he saw it. A figure emerged from the shadows, not fully formed but shifting, its shape flickering like smoke caught in a breeze. Its eyes glowed like embers, piercing and unrelenting, and its voice was both a whisper and a roar. "You seek the forbidden. You seek us. Tell me, mortal, what price are you willing to pay?" The encounter was brief, but its impact was shattering. The presence of the Djinn was overwhelming, its voice reverberating through every fiber of his being. It asked no questions of why he had come, only what he would offer in exchange for its knowledge. As quickly as it had appeared, the figure dissolved into smoke, leaving behind silence and an impossible decision. The ruins had fallen silent, but their weight pressed on him more heavily than before. The Djinn's words lingered in his mind, twisting and turning, challenging him. What price are you willing to pay? It was not just a question, it was a test. As he sat among the relics, piecing together what he had learned, the reality of the Djinn became clearer and darker. They were not bound by human morality. To them, there was no good or evil, only desire and consequence, cause and effect. Their power could grant unimaginable gifts, but always at a cost. He delved into the texts he had brought with him, desperate for answers. Ancient scrolls spoke of those who had bargained with the Djinn, some who were rewarded beyond their wildest dreams, and others who were utterly destroyed. The difference lay not in the Djinn, but in the intentions of those who sought them. One story told of a man who sought riches, only to find himself trapped in a palace of gold that crumbled into sand when he tried to leave. Another spoke of a woman who asked for eternal beauty, but was cursed to see her reflection age while her body remained unchanged. And then there were those who sought wisdom and power, only to become pawns in the Djinn's unknowable games. The man began to realize that the Djinn were not cruel for the sake of cruelty. They simply reflected the desires and flaws of those who sought them. They held up a mirror to humanity, exposing its greed, ambition, and fear. The question was not whether the Djinn were good or evil, but whether humans could handle the truths they revealed. And yet, despite everything he had learned, he could not bring himself to turn back. The answers he sought lay just beyond the veil, within reach but shrouded in danger. He knew the risks, but the Djinn's words haunted him. What price are you willing to pay? Perhaps deep down he already knew the answer. With each passing moment, the ruins seemed to come alive. The air grew heavier, vibrating with an unseen force, and the shadows around him began to twist and coil, as though they had minds of their own. He stood before the pedestal once more, staring at the suspended flame, its flickering light drawing him closer, urging him forward. Summoning his courage, he spoke aloud, not a chant or a ritual, but a desperate plea. Djinn, I seek your truth. Show me what lies beyond the veil. I offer my will, my strength, my very being, if that is what it takes." The words hung in the air, and the silence that followed was deafening. For a moment, nothing happened, and he thought the Djinn had abandoned him. But then the flame on the pedestal flared, filling the chamber with a blinding light. A voice echoed, low and resonant, shaking the very ground beneath him. "You have called upon us, mortal. You seek truth, yet truth is not without its price. You offer yourself freely, so be it." The light faded, and when he opened his eyes, the world had changed. The ruins were gone, replaced by an endless expanse of shifting shadows and blazing fire. The air shimmered with energy, and in the distance, towering figures moved, indistinct shapes, wreathed in smoke and flame. He was no longer in the mortal realm, but in the domain of the Djinn. One of the figures stepped forward, its form flickering between man, beast, and something unrecognizable. Its glowing eyes locked onto him, and its voice rang out, both terrifying and strangely calm. "You seek knowledge, but knowledge comes with understanding, and understanding with suffering. Are you prepared to see the truth of what lies beyond your world? To gaze into the infinite?" He hesitated, the weight of the question crushing him. He had sought answers, yes, but now, faced with the enormity of what that meant, he felt fear clawing at his resolve. Still he nodded, his voice barely audible. "I am ready." The Djinn raised a hand, and the world around him dissolved into chaos. Images flooded his mind, visions of creation, destruction, the vastness of the universe, and the fragile thread of humanity's existence. He saw himself, small and insignificant, and yet, somehow, integral to the endless cycle. It was overwhelming, beautiful, and horrifying all at once. But as the visions faded, so too did his sense of self. His memories, his identity, his very humanity began to slip away, replaced by a void that seemed infinite. The Djinn's voice cut through the darkness one final time. "You sought the truth, mortal. Now you belong to it. You are part of the story now, as countless others have been before you. Remember, you chose this." And with that, he was gone. Another soul consumed by the secrets of the Djinn, another name lost to the sands of time. The ruins remain, silent and unyielding, waiting for the next seeker to arrive. For those who seek the Djinn must understand one truth above all. The answers they give are never without cost. The story of the seeker is not unique. For centuries, there have been others like him, those who sought the forbidden, believing they could bargain with forces beyond their comprehension. Some sought power, others knowledge, and many redemption. But the outcome is always the same. The Djinn take what is offered and leave behind something far greater than the seeker anticipated. Perhaps this is the greatest secret of the Djinn. They do not deceive out of malice, but reflect the desires, fears, and flaws of the human soul. Their power is neither good nor evil. It simply is. But humanity's hunger for more, for control, for truth, for transcendence, has always been its greatest vulnerability. And yet, the ruins remain. The legends endure. The whispers of the Djinn drift on the winds, calling to those brave or foolish enough to listen. Each seeker believes they will be the one to uncover the secrets, to bend the Djinn to their will. But the truth is immutable. The Djinn cannot be controlled, only encountered, and those who seek them must always pay the price. So the question remains, if you found yourself at the edge of the ruins, with the whispers in your ear and the secrets of the Djinn within your reach, what price would you be willing to pay? As we've seen today, the Djinn are far more than stories. They are ancient, powerful, and complex, tied to the very fabric of our desires and fears. But what about you? Would you dare seek the truth, knowing the price you might pay? Share your thoughts with us. Do you think the Djinn are guardians or tormentors? Have you encountered any mysterious forces in your own life? Drop a comment below and let us know what you believe.